All right. So there I am. If you can bear with me, I'm just sharing to a couple of groups here, which is something we have to now do manually in Facebook. If I find a better way to do this, I will definitely do that. Right now, I have 6 groups that I share to, so it's very important that I do this. Let me see, share one more time, I believe. Okay. And I will go live on Instagram. All right, everybody. I want to welcome you to Finding the Guardian of Your Soul. I'm Lisa Shield, and this is a breakthrough conversation for strong, smart, successful women who want it all, especially in their love lives. And you know who you are. You are not going to settle. You want what I call a guardian of your soul relationship. You know that there's something extraordinary out there. You can feel it in your bones, but you just don't know how to make it happen in your life. You don't want another crappy relationship where all you do is talk about how to work things out and discuss problems and issues and constantly negotiating and talking about a relationship rather than just having one. So you are women who understand that life is everything in life is an opportunity for growth and learning. You are on a spiritual path, and you want to learn how to apply those philosophies to your dating journey and your dating life so you can attract this man I call the guardian of your soul. So today we're going to talk about how to make every date more meaningful. Look, we can all get into that dialogue that dating sucks, there's no good men out there, the dating apps and websites are a nightmare, they're just filled with scammers and liars and cheaters, and you can go down that road all you want. Or you can take a spiritual approach to dating, and you can be intentional about the way you date. You can show up on dates and understand that almost every guy you meet is not going to be the one. They may be a wonderful opportunity for growth and learning, for you to test out some techniques, for you to learn how to engage men, be in your feminine, mirror their masculinity back to them, make them feel like a man. Learn how to be vulnerable, get emotionally naked, get out of your head and into your heart. Most women who are out in the dating world don't feel like they really have more work to do on themselves. Many women don't. There are many of you who think to yourselves, I've done so much work. That's all I've been doing is personal growth work. I've read every freaking dating book out there. I've done courses. I've been in therapy for years. And all of those things may be true. And you may have a lot of personal growth and personal insight into who you are and what you want in a relationship, in a partner. But I can tell you that that doesn't translate into sitting across from a man on a date and being able to let down your walls, to be passionate and compassionate, to connect at a heart level with that man sitting across from you. And I can tell you that I could connect on a heart level by the time I met my husband with just about every single man I went on a date with. I knew how to bring men into their hearts when they were with me because it was something I had been very intentional about in my dating. I made my dates meaningful. I made each date a stepping stone to love. I never went into a date thinking, oh my God, this guy's a loser, or this is just a duty date. I hate that phrase. I mean, what a horrible thing to say, to imply that this is a duty date. You're going on these dates because you have work to do too. And if you look at your whole relationship history, probably for the vast majority of you, your relationships have been nothing to write home about. They're embarrassing. They're not the relationship of your dreams. Maybe you were with narcissists or avoidance or men who were just nice guys or men that you had to support, men who were abusive, who gaslit you. I don't know what your relationships looked like. I know mine were nothing I was proud of. I never had a single romantic relationship with a man that I was proud of until I met my husband, Benjamin. And when I looked at my history and I really got sober and or sobered up in the face of the choices I'd made, I wasn't very proud of what I had created in terms of relationship. In fact, most of it was a mess. And so it wasn't about, oh, my picker's off or, I'm just unlucky in love. No, it became about, Lisa, you've got a lot to learn. I mean, you're an amazing woman. You've done tons of work. You've owned your own business. You've got great friendships. You bring a lot to the table in terms of what you can offer a man. But the most important pieces of a real romance, a beautiful guardian of your soul relationship, like who men are, what they're looking for, or what they were looking for from me in a relationship, who I had to be as a woman to draw out men in the way that I wanted to draw them out and connect with them in the way I wanted to connect. You see, so many of us are leaving this to chance. We tell ourselves this lie that, oh, well, when I meet the right guy, everything will align and, we'll just see, oh my gosh, there you are, and everything will line up. And we'll just have this perfectly perfect relationship. And many of us have a fantasy that that will happen or that that's how it should happen. We may not see it for ourselves, but we still hold that belief that that's how it happens. We meet somebody, we fall madly in love, we treat each other like gold, and all of our struggles, everything that we've gone through makes sense because we find true love. It just happens. And I stopped believing it was going to just happen. In my life, what I knew was, and I think if you look at your life too, everything that we have that's really of value and meaning, we've worked for. We had to work through our issues, our blocks, our insecurities to have those things. I don't think Beyonce just walked out on a stage and she was Beyonce. She worked on herself. She had to overcome fears. She had to work through self-doubts in order to be who she is. And that's why you have so many celebrities and stars who get into drugs and alcohol and all, because they don't do that inner work and they feel like fakes and frauds. And so they use drugs or alcohol as, to get them out there, to give them courage to get out there. But being in the kind of relationship I am talking about, a true, unconditionally loving relationship, the kind most people dream of having, you can have that. You truly can. But for 99.9% of the population, it won't just happen. It's something you have to do the work on yourself and make it happen. You've got to know that you're not perfect. You don't have this all figured out. And there's no silver bullet. There's no Cupid's arrow. There's no magic that is going to happen to bring this perfect relationship into your life. You have to do the work to have it. So let's talk about one of the ways to do that. You need to be intentional about your dating, and you need to learn how to make every date meaningful. And that means humbling yourself and going into each and every date, no matter what, no matter if that guy is 20 years older than his pictures, or 50 pounds heavier, or he didn't iron his shirt and he looks scruffy and unkempt. You don't know what he's thinking about you. I know I'm not so perfect. I'm sure that when I went on dates, guys were thinking a lot of thoughts about me that I'm glad I didn't hear. And that's part of the humility, is just realizing that you're two people who are meeting up just to see what happens. You're going on this date, and it's like you're at Vegas and you're gambling, but it's like if you win the lottery, it's going to be the most amazing thing that's ever happened in your life. Having the guardian of your soul, a truly loving, lasting, magical relationship with a partner that you adore, that you respect, that you love spending every moment you can with. And it never gets old, because this really is your person. You don't fight, you don't argue. You just want what's best for each other and for the relationship, this beautiful, precious relationship that you found. And so you walk into every date just saying, you know what? Maybe this could be the guardian of my soul. I don't know. I know he's out there. I know if I keep doing my work and I keep showing up, I'll find him. And so I am going to go into each date with an open heart and an open mind, just allowing whatever happens and walking away, asking myself, what were 3 things I felt really great about, how I showed up, how I handled the date, and 3 things I can learn from this date. Could I have been kinder? Could I have been a better listener? Did I really give this man my best? Did I take any risks? Did I let down my wall and get emotionally naked? And did I help him do the same? Was I authentic? Was I genuinely caring? You can't fake these things, and they're not things that you can give to some people. A lot of us, we go on dates and it's like we sum up the person sitting across from us quickly, and then we decide not to give them the very best of who we are, because they don't, it's not somebody we want to see again. This isn't a person that we decide, is on our level, whatever it is. But the truth is, it isn't truly spiritual not to give everybody your best. And even if you don't want to see a man again, it still means that for those 30 minutes or that hour and a half that you're on that date, that you're kind, that you're caring, that you're compassionate, that you're genuinely interested in who this person is. Maybe he's the kind of guy who just feels so lucky to have even gotten a date with you. And you're not giving him pity, you're just being kind because you are a kind person. And so even if you think, wow, this man has a lot of work to do on himself, you can still spend that time and make it valuable. And I promise you this, if you do that, it's almost like there's a piggy bank in the sky. And the kinder you are, the more generous you are, generous of spirit, the more loving you are with as many people as you can possibly be, especially people who are not like you. When you can do that, it's like you're putting money in that bank. You're getting credit for that because you're not just saying, well, this person deserves my kindness, but this person doesn't. You can have strong boundaries and still be kind. You can be emphatic about things. One of the things I love the most about my coach, Elizabeth, who works for me, with me, in my emotionally naked dating course, she has a knack for just being so honest and direct with guys. And she's not mean about it. Like, she went out with a guy and he was, he told her he was looking for a relationship. And then he showed her his profile, his Bumble profile or something. And she looked at it and it said multiple partners or something. And she looked at it and she was like, yeah, no, this guy is not ready for a committed monogamous relationship if he's open to multiple partnerships. And so she just called him, in her wonderful way, she called him out on it right there. And she said, well, it says that you're open to polyamory. And it doesn't seem it seems like that conflicts with monogamy. And she just brought it up and she said, I just don't think we're a match. And she was so honest right then and there in the moment with this guy. It was amazing. But she didn't, she wasn't upset about it. She saw it. She was a grown up and she brought it to his attention. And she called it out. And that was the end of that. So let's talk about making, like, one way you can make dates more meaningful. My husband, who I just adore, I love the way he looks at life. He has some of the things he says to me, I just sit back and I'm like, and it just comes from him. It's just who he is. So one day, Benjamin said to me, I can find something to connect with in just about everyone I meet. First of all, what a lovely thing to say. What a lovely intention to actually look for something he can connect with in everyone he meets. That is true generosity of spirit. And what he was saying was, like, if he were on a date and he was sitting across from a woman, he's not looking for things they have in common. He's looking to connect with a quality in this person, her kindness, her compassion, her passion for life, her sensuality, her warmth. He's looking to connect with her essence. How beautiful is that? He really wants to connect with people's essence. Imagine doing that, not just on a date, with everybody around you, with your sister, with a girlfriend, with a colleague, right? Imagine looking for that beautiful standout quality in somebody that you can really connect with. And imagine how that would draw two people together if you were to match your best friend's passion with your passion, and she's being passionate, and so you're being passionate with her. Or she's so warm and you melt. Her warmth just melts your heart, and you allow her warmth to touch your heart, and you mirror that or reflect that back to her. Can you see how beautiful that is, and the quality of a connection that you can make with that person sitting across from you, and how it's not up here? You're not, oh, well, where did you grow up? And how many siblings do you have? And, where do you work? What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know, all the stupid questions we ask on dates. You're connecting at this beautiful level of this person's true essence. And you're doing this intentionally. And instead of focusing on how much money does this guy make, you're focusing on something about his masculinity. Maybe he has tremendous clarity, and you just are mesmerized by how clear this man's thought process is, and his ideas, right? And the way his mind works. And so you allow yourself to connect with him in that place. Can you feel what that's like? And this is something that you can get very good at doing, and not just using it in dating. Of course, I'm a dating coach or a love coach. We don't call ourselves dating coaches anymore. Not good. I'm a love coach, but you connect in this way with a man, with his essence. And imagine how that would feel. These are very sophisticated skills, by the way. This is not like some strategy or, whatever, run your fingers through your hair kind of way of connecting with a man. This is way more sophisticated than that, and much more at the soul level. And these are things that we can do. Dating doesn't have to be this superficial thing where we just are going through the motions waiting for our person to show up. You can really make the most out of this process, and how that evolves you as a person, the quality of the relationships you start to have. This is, relationship is an area that we can master. You can master the art of relationship and not just leave this up to fantasy and chance. And you can do that by doing what my husband suggested, going on a date and actually setting a powerful intention to connect with a quality in that man and making that your focus. So the typical dating mindset is really looking for reasons not to connect. Many of us go into a date and we're so guarded, and we don't want to attract men or people to us who we don't feel are safe. And so when you're that guarded and you walk into dates and you're checking somebody out to see if they're safe enough for you to open up to, it is very, very, very difficult to connect, because first of all, we put so much weight on that first date. And if you're guarded and afraid and you're up here, the magic won't happen. So that's a problem, right? That we're really looking for reasons not to connect. And I'm going to suggest something. A person who really has strong boundaries, you don't have to go into a date guarded because you've got strong boundaries. And you don't have to be waiting for things or looking for, danger signs and red flags. You trust yourself and your awareness enough to know that the minute you see a red flag, you're going to look at it. You're not going to sweep it under the rug because you want a relationship or whatever. You're clear with yourself that you have very good boundaries and that you're paying attention to warning signs and red flags. So if something happens, you'll deal with it. But in the meantime, you walk into that date because you do have strong boundaries and you're clear with yourself. You're going to connect with this person because that's what you're really there to do, to open your heart. I remember my first date with Benjamin, my husband. I was so open-hearted and authentic and unguarded. It was just a meal. We were just meeting for a first date. We were in a public place. We were at a restaurant, and I wanted to show up authentically and really be myself. And I wasn't thinking about what should I or shouldn't I say, is this going to scare him off or whatever. And I had an interesting life. I was in a 12-step program at the time. I was getting my master's degree in spiritual psychology. I was working with Don Miguel Ruiz. I mean, my life was kind of interesting, and I could have been embarrassed about my 12-step program and thought, well, I don't want to tell somebody about that on the first date because it's going to scare them away. I told Benjamin about my 12-step program immediately. And I did that because I was in a 12-step program for food, and I had very real dietary restrictions because I was in that program that anybody I was dating needed to be aware of. I mean, they weren't deal breakers. They didn't stop me from going to restaurants and eating out, and I didn't make a big deal about it. But I needed to adhere to that program, and I needed the man that I was with to understand that. So I was honest about everything, and just transparent. And I had learned a way of talking about my life that wouldn't scare people away because I was okay with those things. When you talk about something in your life and you're okay with it, like I was with my 12-step program, I wasn't ashamed of it. If somebody didn't respect me for being in that program and they had negative views about 12-step programs and were going to judge me for that, that was not a person I wanted to date. That was at the time when I was in that program. I no longer am, but when I was, I needed the person I was with to respect my choice to be there and to support me in doing that. It was a big part of my life at that time. So hiding these things that, first of all, you have to be okay with those things and you can't hide them. So you can't walk into these dates guarded, because if you really want to connect with somebody, you have to have good, strong boundaries. You have to be okay with yourself, and you have to be able to connect with that person across from you and feel comfortable and intentional about doing that. And there is an art to being a connector. There really is. There's an art to making a genuine, a deep, heartfelt, emotionally naked connection with another human being. I have a friend, Martha, and she's my newest friend, but in some ways, she's my very best friend. I love this woman with all my heart. And I think one of the most beautiful things about my friendship with Martha, first of all, she makes it so safe for me to be myself with her warmth, the sparkle in her eyes, her generosity of spirit, all the work she's done on herself over these many years. She is just lovely. And how transparent she is with me. We really share from our hearts, and we both really care about each other so deeply. But what I love so much are the risks I've taken in the friendship. I didn't wait for her to tell me that she loves me. I didn't wait for her to tell me that she's one of my dearest and closest friends, or that I'm one of her dearest and closest friends. I just did those things. I wanted to be emotionally naked and vulnerable and real with her. And the beauty is I chose the right person to do this with. And the benefit to me of not holding back and really initiating in many ways and deepening that connection at my end has allowed this friendship to go deeper. And I'm really proud of how I know I did that intentionally. It wasn't random. It wasn't something that just happened. I let her know how much I love her and value her and what she means to me and how important this friendship is for me. And we can do this with men too, on dates. So, emotionally naked dating, one of the things we emphasize is vulnerability, but we also emphasize curiosity. So, vulnerability is being open about your own qualities, about who you are, and sharing that with another person, flaws and all, and allowing that person to see and fall in love with the real you. And curiosity is being genuinely, insatiably curious about that person sitting across from you so that you can uncover the qualities that make that person unique. So being insatiably curious, and this is how you draw another person out, is with this genuine, insatiable curiosity. And it's how you discover, how you mine for those qualities in that person. So, what I want you to do is during your next date, and if you're not currently dating, do this with anyone you know, right? Just focus on discovering one quality in that person that you admire and that you can connect with. Just one quality, and then really see if you can match that person. The warmth, the clarity, the presence. My husband is so present, and you can feel that when you're sitting across from him. And it's so beautiful to allow yourself to be drawn in by his presence. It's so magical to experience that. And he's so good at it. He is so, so good about it. So you want to shift the focus on your dates from connection, from connection over perfection. So you're not looking for perfection. You're not looking for some perfect person. You're looking for connection. When you go into a date with that checklist mentality, you're looking for perfection. You're checking off things on your list, and that blocks this genuine connection. You want to be looking for a quality in this person you can connect with. So when you're looking for connection, instead of seeking, the flaws in this person, it just allows both people to feel seen and appreciated and to resonate, to vibrate at the same level. So I want to give you some practical tips for creating intentional connection. And these are all rooted in my course, Emotionally Naked Dating. So the first thing is, before a date, I want you to remind yourself of your intention to connect and not judge the person or be guarded. Right? You're not going to walk into a date guarded, and you're not going to be there judging this person and looking for flaws. You're going to set an intention to connect with one quality in that person sitting across from you. And then you can ask deeper questions. If you are going to ask questions, you want to really make these questions thoughtful. Like, what's something that brought you joy this week? Not how was your week, but what's something that brought you joy this week? Think about what a great question that is. And what's really great about it is you're asking for something specific. We often ask questions that are way too broad, and people don't know where to go with those questions. So when you say, what's something that brought you joy this week? That focuses the question. Or what's a quality you really admire in someone? That will give you insight into a quality that, humility. My husband might have said he admires humility. That would have given me tremendous insight into him. The quality that he admires most in other people would be a quality that is probably one of his core values, right? And then after the date, again, as I said, I want you to think of 3 things that you feel you did really well in terms of making a connection, and 3 ways you could improve. So again, connection is a choice. When you approach dating with the intention to connect, you create opportunities for real, meaningful, emotionally naked, guardian of your soul relationships. And one day when you do this kind of intentional connecting with men, you are going to be sitting across from a guy and think, oh my God, I think I found him. I think I found the guardian of my soul. And, he might not be perfect, but you will see him as the perfect match for you. When you get past all the superficial stuff and you start connecting at this deep or deeper soul level, and that's where you start to date from, that's how you find the guardian of your soul. So go out, date, set an intention to make every date more meaningful. And if you want to learn more about this work, the work I do, my Emotionally Naked Dating course, then please go to lisashield.com, click the button all over the website. It will take you directly to my free presentation. I want you to watch that presentation because you have to have a deep understanding of what I do before you book a call with a member of my team. That is going to help you get the most out of that call. And if you want to work with us, if you want our help in getting this solved, you need to come on that call ready. You've probably been pushing this off for years. If you're like most women I know, you're going to get around to this one day. Well, trust me, someday, one day isn't on the calendar. You've got to make a decision. If you want this, it is the most beautiful, magnificent work you will ever do on yourself in this lifetime. But if you don't make this a priority and carve out the time and say, this is it, I'm done messing around and waiting for a fairy tale to come true. I'm going to book that call. I'm going to first watch that presentation, and I'm going to book a call with a member of Lisa's team because I want that kind of love that she's talking about. And I know it's out there. And I am going to get her help so I can find it now, not 3 lifetimes from now. I'm Lisa Shield. Thank you so, so, so much for listening. Please, if you have any suggestions for future topics, please send them to hello@lisashield.com. I'm always looking for great subjects for these broadcasts, and I want to make them as relevant as possible for you. So please send me your suggestions, come back and see me again, and please tune in to Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. It's part of the Finding the Guardian of Your Soul podcast or broadcast, but I do that one. Those are the episodes I do with the Guardian of My Soul, Benjamin. So please check those out too. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.